अस्सलाम वालेकुम स्टूडेंट्स। आज के लेक्चर में हम ग्राफ्स के बारे में देखेंगे। सबसे पहले ग्राफ्स की मैं डिस्क्रिप्शन बताऊंगी कि कौन कौन से ग्राफ की टाइप्स हैं, और फिर आपके सिलेबस के मुताबिक हम बार ग्राफ को देखेंगे, डबल बार ग्राफ को, जिसको कि मल्टीपल चार्ट भी कहा जाता है, फिर हिस्टोग्राम जो हम पहले बना चुके हैं पिछले लेक्चर में, और फिर पाई चार्ट को देखेंगे। आज हम इनके थ्योरेटिकल एस्पेक्ट्स को देखेंगे और अगले लेक्चर में फिर मैं आपको इनको प्रॉपर वे में बनाना सिखाऊंगी, जिसके लिए जिन जिन चीज़ों की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स की, वो मैं आज के लेक्चर में आपको बता दूंगी। अगले लेक्चर तक आप वो अपने पास चीज़ें अवेलेबल कर लीजिएगा और फिर आपको ग्राफ समझना आसान हो जाएगा। ग्राफ की टाइप्स में आपके पास पहला ग्राफ की टाइप है सिंगल लाइन ग्राफ। इसमें एक सिंगल लाइन की मदद से हमारे पास इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स और डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स होते हैं। हम सिंपली इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स को एक्स एक्सिस पे लेते हैं और डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स को वाई एक्सिस पे, और उनके पॉइंट्स को प्लॉट कर देते हैं। मल्टीपल लाइन ग्राफ में हमारे पास इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स तो सिंगल होते हैं और डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स दो होते हैं। जैसे कि आप हर साल में प्रोडक्शन ले लें, वीट की प्रोडक्शन ले लें और कॉटन की प्रोडक्शन ले लें, तो एक लाइन वीट की प्रोडक्शन को रिप्रेजेंट करती है और एक लाइन कॉटन की प्रोडक्शन को रिप्रेजेंट करती है। उसके बाद हमारे पास पेयर्ड बार चार्ट होता है, और जिसको कि हम मल्टीपल बार चार्ट भी कहते हैं। सिंगल बार चार्ट होता है जो कि आपके सिलेबस में हम ड्रॉ करेंगे। पॉपुलेशन चार्ट होता है, उसमें हम जिन एरियाज़ को रिप्रेजेंट करना होता है उनको हम शो करते हैं एरिया को ड्रॉ करके। बबल डायग्राम्स होती हैं, और ये दोनों पॉपुलेशन चार्ट और बबल डायग्राम आपके सिलेबस में नहीं है। मल्टीपल पेयर बार चार्ट भी नहीं है आपके सिलेबस में। सिंगल लाइन ग्राफ, मल्टीपल लाइन ग्राफ, सिंगल बार चार्ट और डायग्राम, जिसे कि लाइन ग्राफ भी कहते हैं। उसके बाद हमारे पास पाई चार्ट और आपके पास बार चार्ट आपके सिलेबस में है, लेकिन परसेंटेज बार चार्ट्स भी होते हैं हमारे पास, और हमारे पास स्टिक बार चार्ट भी होते हैं, फ्लो चार्ट्स भी होते हैं, जो कि आपने कंप्यूटर साइंसेस में देखे होंगे, और बार चार्ट्स ऑन ग्रिड्स भी होते हैं। अगर मैं डिस्क्राइब करूं लाइन और बार ग्राफ्स को, तो आप देखेंगे कुछ वर्ड्स मैंने लिखे हैं और कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं 6। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है विच 5 वर्ब्स मीन गो अप, और इन वर्ड्स में से अगर हम ढूंढें तो अप को शो करने के लिए पीक रिप्रेजेंट अप, रॉकेट, राइज, इंक्रीज एंड सोर। क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 देखें, ऑफ दीज विच 3 मीन गो अप सडनली अ लॉट, तो उसमें आपके पास रॉकेट, सोर और पीक जल्दी से ऊपर की तरफ जाते हैं। विच 5 वर्ब्स मीन गो डाउन, तो उसमें डिक्रीज जो है वो नीचे की तरफ जाता है, ड्रॉप नीचे की तरफ है, डिक्लाइन नीचे की तरफ है, फॉल नीचे की तरफ है, और प्लमेट नीचे की तरफ है। क्वेश्चन नंबर 4, विच वर्ब मीन्स रीच इट्स हाईएस्ट लेवल, तो पीक आपके पास हाईएस्ट लेवल को रिप्रेजेंट करती है। विच वर्ब मीन्स स्टे द सेम, तो स्टे द सेम मीन्स लेवल आउट, और विच वर्ब मीन्स गो अप एंड डाउन, तो फ्लक्चुएट जो होता है वो आपको ग्रुप गो अप एंड डाउन को रिप्रेजेंट करता है। तो यही 6 सिचुएशंस हम ग्राफ्स में रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं। गो अप हम जाहिर करते हैं कौन सी चीज़ें हमारी ऊपर की तरफ जा रही हैं, कौन सी चीज़ें सडनली ऊपर चली गई हैं, कौन सी चीज़ें नीचे की तरफ आ रही हैं। चीज़ों का मतलब ये है कि किन वर्ब्स के, जैसे कि आपके पास 2 वेरिएबल्स हैं। इंडिपेंडेंट में आपके पास ईयर्स हैं और डिपेंडेंट में आपके पास प्रोडक्शन है। तो हम देखेंगे कि किन ईयर्स की प्रोडक्शन ऊपर को जा रही है, किन ईयर्स की प्रोडक्शन सडनली नीचे आ गई है, और किन ईयर्स की प्रोडक्शन हाईएस्ट लेवल पे है, किन ईयर्स में प्रोडक्शन सेम रही है, और किन ईयर्स में प्रोडक्शन ऊपर नीचे फ्लक्चुएट्स कर रही है। तो ये सब हम ग्राफ्स की मदद से रिप्रेजेंट। The same thing which I have discussed in the previous slides is represented with the help of diagrams. In this slide, the lines are showing the situations. The first red line is showing that stood at, constituted, made up, composed, comprised, or it's showing that the production is or the dependent variable is going upward. Next line is showing the values are going downward. then at least sudden change and the values are going upward, then they are stable and remain the same. The green line is showing the stability, and then blue line is showing the collapsed, crushed, or falling down rapidly or quickly. So in this graph the lines are shown which are representing the different situation. Here in these slides are given the few examples which are used for which we use to draw the graph. If the market is showing some signs of growth, the market is extremely violent, and similarly different situations for which we can and we have to draw the graph to represent the situation. Here in this slide two types of graphs are shown to you. First graph is showing you double line graph. First line, a simple description, it decreases from 10 to 4. There was a drop of 6 units. It dropped by 6 units, a decrease in the number of between 2004 to 2008 and from 2004 to 2008. Second graph, peak is shown, remains stability is shown, and lowest point is shown in the second graph. And a simple description, it started at 4 units, it peaked at 10 units, and it dropped by 8 units to its lowest point at 2 units. It increases to 6 units. It remained stable between 2008 to 2010. It finished at 6 units in 2010. Similarly, in this slide they have shown you the two types of graphs and also given its description. So this will make you how to read the given graph, or how to read or take out the values from the given graph. Definition of bar chart is given. A bar graph is a chart that uses either horizontal or vertical bars to show comparisons between categories. Horizontal or vertical axis you know are x-axis and y-axis, and comparison between categories are we have two variables, independent variables or dependent variables. A bar chart has three types: single bar chart or vertical bar chart, multiple bar chart or stacked bar chart. In our syllabus only single or vertical bar chart and multi. An example of a simple bar chart is given. Here on x-axis shows the specific categories being compared, and on y-axis represent individual separate and distinct values, number of cards sold and color of cards. There are 5 colors of cards: black, green, red, white and blue, and different bars are showing that the blue number of cards sold are 4 and white number of cards sold are 4.5, and the red number of cards sold are 15, and green number of cards sold are 6, and black number of cards sold are black. The bars heights representing the number of sold cars. You must also know about the advantages of bar chart, which are also important according to the examination point of view. You have to learn the definition of each type of graph or chart and also its disadvantage or advantages. So first we will see the advantages of bar chart. There are 4, 5, 6. So first is show each data category in a frequency distribution. सो बार चार्ट का फ़ायदा ये है कि फ्रिक्वेंसी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के हर डाटा कैटेगरी को ये शो करता है. डिस्प्ले रेलेवेंट नंबर और पोर्शंस ऑफ मल्टीपल कैटेगरीज, और हमें इनकी बार्स की मदद से पता चल जाता है कि हर कैटेगरी का कितना पोर्शन है पूरे डाटा और फ्रिक्वेंसी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के अंदर. समराइजेज अ लार्ज डाटा सेट इन अ विजुअल फॉर्म. जैसे कि आपने पिछली स्लाइड में देखा कि एक लार्ज डाटा सेट था, नंबर ऑफ कार्ड सोल्ड्स थी और 5 टाइप्स ऑफ कलर्स थे उनके, और उन्होंने उसको जल्दी से एक ग्राफ में रिप्रेजेंट किया विद द हेल्प ऑफ बार्स, एंड यू कैन विजुअली इजीली असेस दैट द रेड नंबर ऑफ कार्ड्स सोल्ड आर मैक्सिमम एज कंपेयर टू ब्लू, ग्रीन, वाइट एंड ब्लैक. एस्टिमेट की वैल्यूज़ एट अ ग्लांस, देखते ही आपको वैल्यूज़ को आप एस्टिमेट कर सकते हैं. बी इजीली अंडरस्टूड ड्यू टू विस्पर्ड यूज़ इन बिजनेस एंड द मीडिया, और इजीली अंडरस्टूड भी हो सकता है क्योंकि इसकी वाइड स्प्रेड यूजेस हैं बिजनेसेस और मीडिया के अंदर. इट्स डिसएडवांटेजेस आर रिक्वायर्ड एडिशनल एक्सप्लेनेशन, आपको एक्सप्लेन करना पड़ता है चीज़ों को. यू हैव एज in the previous slides we have shown the number of cars separate, and also in the bars we have to mention on x-axis what we are representing and also on the y-axis what we are representing. Then we have to give the title of the graph, the type of the graph which we are using, so it requires additional explanation. We easily manipulated to yield false impressions, और फॉल्स इम्प्रेशन भी इससे आपके पास आ सकता है. फेल टू रिवील की अजम्पशंस, कॉजेज, इफेक्ट्स और पैटर्न्स, और आपके पास पैटर्न्स इसकी मदद से नहीं आते, कॉजेज इफेक्ट्स को शो करने में ये फेल होता है. Another example is given to you. Years are there and the profit in millions are given, and the graph is constructed. On x-axis they represent the independent variables years, and on y-axis they represent the dependent variables profit in millions. They have taken the continuous or equal interval as 0, 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50 on y-axis, and an equal interval representing one grid for a year 1989, 1990, 1991, 1992 and 1993, and they have given the title of the graph simple bar graph. We will see the multiple bar chart. Our next type of graph is multiple. It has the same procedure or the type like the bar chart, but here the independent variables are same for the two or more than two dependent variables. Here independent variables are years 1991 to 1995, and we are going to show dependent variables which are imports and exports on the y-axis. So yellow bar is representing the imports and green bar is representing the exports. So for the both categories we will represent it with the help of bar, and for each category we have a different bar. Multiple bar can be 2, 3, 4, 5 and many, as the number of, it depends on the number of dependent variables or the categories which are represented in the data. Students, it will be, I am just explaining the types and their concepts. It will be more clear to you as in the coming next lecture I will draw it and share it with you with the help of video. Then you will come to know the method or the procedures or the steps in drawing the graphs. So just don't take the pain or don't be panic, just go through the concepts before you. Histogram we have learned in our previous lecture very clearly how to draw histogram. Now just explaining its definition, its uses, and want to share one more example with you. Definition is that histogram is a graphical presentation that is helpful to organize and display the data in more user friendly format, and its uses are students, it's very one of very important types of graph, because we have the graphs which we use in mathematics and other sciences, and in statistics mostly we have the types of graphs which represents the statistical data. Statistical data means the frequency distribution, and for representing the frequency distribution we have three types of graphs: histogram, frequency polygon and ogive. And histogram is the most used type of graph which is used to display the frequency distribution. So in statistical theory or statistical studies, histogram, frequency polygon and ogive has an importance. So according to the examination point of view, also the histogram is the important type of a graph. So you must learn its definition, its uses, its advantages and disadvantages, and its examples. To consult more its examples and go through the topic, you can consult your book according to your syllabus of HSC, which I have already told you into the class. So its uses are, it is helpful in comparing process within specified limits, it summarizes large data, and it assists in decision making. Next type is frequency polygon, which is also very important type used to represent the statistical data, means frequency distribution. And how to draw it we have learned in our previous lecture. Here I am explaining its concept theoretically, that it means its definition. So if we have to define frequency polygon, we can say that it's a type of a graph that uses lines that connect points plotted for the frequencies at the midpoints of the classes. Frequencies are represented by the heights of the points. To construct a frequency polygon, I'm sure you are familiar with it. Find the midpoints of each class, draw the x and y axis, label the axis with the midpoints of each class, then use a suitable scale for the frequencies of the y-axis. Using the midpoints of the x values and the frequencies as the y values, plot the points, connect adjust points with line segment, draw a line back to the x-axis at the beginning and end of the graph where the next midpoints would be located. Here is the example of frequency polygon is given. In the data, lower limits are given, upper limits are given, their counts are given. It means count means their frequencies are given, and we calculated the cumulative frequency. Now on the graph we represent the lower limits on the x-axis, class mark on the x-axis, and the cumulative frequency on the y-axis, and we put the dots for each value against its given category, and then we join the dots with the help of lines, and this line represent the type of graph that is called frequency polygon. Here the procedure is given to draw a frequency polygon. Please read it carefully and try to understand it. Inshallah, in the coming lecture I will also show you by drawing graphs how to do this procedure to construct a frequency. So when you follow the procedure which was given in the above slide, by representing the test scores on the x-axis and frequency on the y-axis, putting dots for each category and the value that it is representing, and then joining the dots, you will get this curve, and this is called your frequency polygon. The last type of graph is ogive, which is also very important and very helpful in representing the frequency distribution or our distributions. Students, these graphs are used to represent the shape of the frequency distribution, whether it is going upward, whether it is the data or the trend of the distribution is going downward, or the trend is showing normality. So all the types of graphs are just they are used for representing the frequency distribution. And frequency distribution representation means that it shows the trend of the frequency distribution, that what trend or what the shape or what the movement is going into the frequency distribution or into the data. So our next and last type of graph is ogive. So the definition of the ogive is graph that represents the cumulative frequencies for the classes in a frequency distribution. And to construct an ogive, find the cumulative frequency for each class, draw the x and y axis, label the axis with the class boundaries. It means that on x-axis you have to draw the class boundaries, label the y-axis with an appropriate frequency, does not use actual frequency number, yields uneven intervals or classes, represent cumulative frequencies on the y-axis, plot the cumulative frequency at each upper class boundary, starting with the first upper class boundary, connect adjust points with line segments, extend the graph to the first lower class boundary on the x-axis. So this was all about the types of graphs which we will practice in our coming lectures and which are according to your syllabus. Now in this slide we will see the constructing statistical graphs general procedures. What are the general procedures that we have to adopt to construct a graph? First of all, we have to draw the label and label the x and y axis. As I have told you, and you must label the independent values on x axis and dependent values on y axis. Next is choose a suitable scale for the frequencies or cumulative frequencies and label it on the y axis, and similarly choose a suitable scale on x axis and represent and label the values on x axis. Represent the class boundaries for the histogram or ogive or the midpoint for the frequency polygon on the x axis. So note it, it's very important. You have to learn it that the class in histogram and ogive you have to represent the class boundaries, and in frequency polygon you have to represent the midpoints on the x axis. Plot the points and then draw the bars or line. For an example, a data is given to you. Please read it and learn it. Now in this slide the data is arranged into a frequency distribution form, and we make the tally bars, and now we will count the frequencies and cumulative frequencies into the coming slides. Here we count the tally bar. For the first group we have a frequency 1. For the second group we have no value, so its frequency is 0, and similarly so on. For 4, 5, 6 we have values 1, 1, 8, 3 and 1. In this slide we calculated the cumulative frequency, the first value as it is of the cumulative frequency. Then we add the first value of cumulative frequency 1 into the second value of cumulative frequency, which is 1. So it becomes 2, then 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 8 is 11, 11 plus 3 is 14, and 14 plus 1 is 15. So from the data we draw our graph. The first coordinate in the plot always starts as the value of 0. The second coordinate is at the end of the first interval. The third coordinate is at the end of the second interval, and we draw the line, and we got the shape of a pie chart, also called it a pie graph or circle graph, makes use of sectors in a circle. The angle of a sector is proportional to the frequency of the data. A pie chart is a good way of displaying data when you want to show how something is shared or divided. For discussing its procedure or advantage or disadvantage, these are the materials you should need it. First of all, classwork book or note copy means you have to buy your graph copy. Then you have to buy a protector, a pair of compasses, pencil, ruler and eraser, that you can draw these graphs. As you know, and we all know, that due to this coronavirus we all are at home, and you are attending the online classes. So please buy and these things and make them available on your study table, that tomorrow when I upload the next lecture you are with these materials, that you can also draw the graph and understand it easily. So these things are needed. Please make them available on your study table. This is the formula to determine the angle of a sector in a circle graph. Frequency of the data over total frequency into 360 degree. An example is given to draw the circle graph or pie graph. Total number of students that are given are 750, 420 and 630. What we will do first, we add these three values and got the total. So what we will do to find the portion of each value or category into the circle or the sector of the circle, to find out the sector of the circle, we divide each value 750, 420 or 63 with its total as 750 over 1800, 420 over 1800 and 630 over 1800. and we multiply each value 750 over 1800 with 360 degree. 420 over 1800 multiply by with 360 degree, and 630 over 1800 multiply by 360 degree. First value answer is 150 degree, second value answer is 84 degree and 126 degree, and we will draw these values into the circle. So the diagram also representing the sectors of the circle. Advantages of pie chart are that the size of the circle can be made proportional to the total quantity it represents, summarizes a large data set in visual form, be visually simpler than other types of graphs, permit a visual check of the responsibleness or accuracy of calculations required, minimal additional explanation, be easily understood due to whispered use in business and the media. Disadvantages of pie chart are do not easily reveal exact value. Many pie charts may be needed to show changes over time, fail to reveal key assumptions, causes, effects or patterns, be easily manipulated to yield false impression. So in the coming slides, more examples are given to you to make you clear and understand the types of bar chart or the double bar chart, multiple bar chart, histogram, pie chart. Please go through it, that the concepts will be clear to you.